Have some fun. Pajama crew, let's go. Alright there, you little demons. Jules here for WhatCulture.com, back again with another episode of the awesomely named and awfully hosted Choose Your Own Adventure, the weekly medieval themed format where I, the crown Jules of WhatCulture.com, take a list chosen by you. Yes, you, the person who is, at the time of recording, unfortunately, on a 9-loss losing streak when it comes to Warhammer. Now, I know this might not mean a lot to many people out there except the die-hard lovers of the game, but this is a real problem for me because back in the day, I actually said to my friends, if I go on a 10-game losing streak, I'll just quit it. And they've kind of remembered that I said that. I must have said it with some conviction back in the day, probably after a few pints. And this is the problem. I need you now to help will me over the finish line, will me to victory, even if you don't play the game. Just understand that I'm heavily invested into this hobby, and I kind of don't want to give it up. Cheers, right? I'm just going to feed on to all this positivity. Oh, I can see why Simon Miller does this. This is lovely. This is very, very good. Thank you very much. Yes, you get to decide what list I dole out to you each and every week. And this week we have none other to thank than Chris Breezy for their suggestion of video game protagonists that would have actually made better villains. Because here's the thing, sometimes our heroes, they go through quite a lot in the video games. I mean, likely they've had their family killed, they've had their dog kicked, and their nan insulted. And that's just not on. Not that I was okay with the family being killed with the dog. You know what I mean, though. And so sometimes it's really a question of why don't they also fall to the dark side? Because, well, sometimes they've got to take some pretty nefarious means to get their rewenge, if you know what I'm saying. So let's take a look at some examples where people came very, very close to turning, didn't, but maybe, in retrospect, should have. So, with that in mind, I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 video game protagonists who would have made better villains.
Oi, you! Yes, you. Do you want to stay safe and browse freely? Well, NordVPN is running an unbelievable deal at the minute that gets you up to 76% off subscriptions and 3 months free. Just scan the QR code in this video or click the link below and it's all yours.
Isaac Clarke from Dead Space. Now let's be real here. If any one of us just saw Dead Space's Isaac Clarke walking towards us, I would have a bloody heart attack and then run a mile. I mean, his armoured engineering suit, complete with that creepy face helmet, makes him look straight up like a slasher movie villain, to say nothing of the fact that he rocks some seriously hefty weaponry like his trusty plasma cutter, while also harbouring quite the penchant for stomping the living hell out of anything into a bloody paste. It'd be like, hey, Isaac man, I know that you've just turned that guy's head into actual jam, but you do owe me for the Uber ride that we took to the work. I'll catch you in a bit. I'll split. Bye. And then there's, of course, Isaac's well-noted psychological issues, from the trauma of losing his girlfriend Nicole to effectively developing space dementia from his contact with the Marker. Now, despite being the ass-kicking hero of Dead Space and a character that millions love playing as, Isaac also ticks quite a lot of villain boxes as well. And considering what he's been through, who could actually blame him? Honestly, a survival horror game where a crazed, masked guy in a spacesuit is trying to rip you limb from limb actually sounds pretty damn awesome. So yeah, I'd be up for that. With the Dead Space franchise basically being on ice for the foreseeable future, why the hell not? Now let's talk about Kratos from God of War. Now Kratos is unquestionably one of the most badass video game protagonists in history, but much like Dead Space's Isaac, you definitely wouldn't want to meet him down a dark alleyway. Just kind of like, hey buddy,
yes.
Ooh, do you mind if I just squeeze past you there? I need to get to the Bureau de Change, man. I've got some euros I need to check.
No.
Oh, you kind of just ripped my gut open with that blade as you just
that
went.
Does not concern me.
I won't complain about it. And now your son's just flipping me the bird.
Oh boy.
But even beyond his pant-pissingly intimidating visage, defined by his ape-like frame and piercing gaze, Kratos is one hell of a morally dubious character. You see, in the original Greek-era trilogy of games, Kratos' quest for vengeance against the gods left an ungodly amount of mortal bloodshed in his wake, and sometimes entirely innocent folk whose only crime was standing in their way got the brunt of it. Consequences, schmonsequences, it seems here. And while Kratos absolutely cleans up his act by the time he enters his dad era, he's still a literal god capable of wielding the sort of power that nobody, anywhere, ever should have just to themselves. In another game, it'd be easy to picture Kratos as the final boss of the thing, but the mythical villain that the plucky chosen one has to topple at the end of things against all of the odds, rather than a literal god slaying Goliath in his own right. Honestly, the fact that many newer players find the original Greek games tough to play because Kratos is such a relentlessly bloodthirsty, nasty piece of work kind of says it all. Okay, let's have a chat about Max from Life is Strange. Now, Max is, of course, the heroine from Life is Strange, who manifests the ability to rewind time and endeavours to use it to resurrect her murdered friend Chloe, a decision that is ultimately left up to the player. Yet, as likeable as Max is throughout the franchise, it goes without saying that few people who develop the power to manipulate time in a world like this truly use it in a responsible way. And more to the point, the series' own rules frequently demonstrate that messing with time has unintended, almost always negative consequences, such that the very act of tampering with time is, less than ideal, to put it bluntly. And so, Max could so easily slip into the role of a time-tinkering villain, a possibility which was teased in last year's divisive sequel, Life is Strange Double Exposure, where Max crosses paths with her own dubious future self. There comes a point where screwing with the space-time continuum isn't just reckless or misguided, and in the wake of another sufficiently traumatic event, it would be so easy for Max to become a temporal terrorist, forever trying to bend the universe to her will, no matter the mass casualty calamities that it causes. See, if I had the power of time travel, I would use it very wisely indeed, because I go back to the moment that I spotted Big Pidge, what up, for the first time, and make that real-life pigeon feel like he goddamn mattered, because he's gone on to influence so much here on What Culture Gaming. And I don't think that they know. I think that that pigeon just flew in there, big fat pigeon that he is, and then flew off into the sunset. I mean, maybe the mysteries are best left unanswered, but if you can hear this, Big Pigeon, real life Big Pidge, not that there's anything against you, thank you. That's all I do. That's all I do. I won't go back in time and shoot Hitler in the face. Corvo from Dishonored. Now, Dishonored's protagonist, Corvo, is freaking awesome because the game gives players so many potential abilities to make them an absolute menace. His various supernatural powers include the ability to see foes through walls, perform short-distance teleportation, possess other characters, slow or freeze time entirely, summon swarms of rats, and turn dead enemies into ash, which kind of seems like a little bit of a party trick more than anything else. When you put it all there, control rats, teleportation, ooh, I'm gonna cremate your body. You're just providing a service at that point there, apart from just making a bit of cash on the side. Okay. And that's without even getting into Corvo's actual arsenal of tangible weapons as well. That is to say that Corvo is basically a terrifying wraith of a human being, capable of liberating folk from their lives with stealthy precision. Stealthy precision. And all the while doing so while rocking a terrifying-ass mask that looks more at home in a horror movie than anything else. Now, while Corvo's fear factor is dictated by each player's playstyle, those who embrace a high chaos run will basically be playing Corvo as a merchant of death, to be feared by both folk, good and bad. Imagine having to take him on, the end boss of a horror game, of needing to find a way to answer all of the stealth attacks and put him down for good. That would basically be like Mr. Freeze, the boss from Arkham City, multiplied by infinity, and then added it with horror. Yeah, boy. Okay, it's time to gob off about Kirby from the video games featuring Kirby. Now, don't let his adorable exterior and mere 20 inches of height fool you. Kirby is the sort of abomination with which Lovecraftian nightmares are made. I mean, his suite of offensive and defensive abilities are as terrifying as they are mind-boggling. He can change the shape of his body to fend off a foe, inflate himself with air and fly, and even open his mouth to swallow enemies whole in an attempt to satisfy his apparently insatiable insatiable appetite. More to the point, Kirby can adopt the characteristics of anyone he devours, and if this all isn't somehow quite terrifying yet, he's also proven himself powerful enough to kill actual gods. Now, if you read this description sight unseen, you'd more likely assume Kirby to be a big bad from a sci-fi horror film, not one of Nintendo's all-time most cute and popular mascot characters. For as fun as Kirby is to play as, the experience of battling something so malleable and protean must be utterly oppressive. And could you imagine, my god, I don't even really want to picture this, could you imagine if Kirby actually ate Big Pidge? Wait a minute, why are you so pink? Oh, you just got a sunburn. What up, man? Oh my god, it's time to talk about everyone's favourite character now. It's Bean Guy. It's Doom Guy, who we've reattributed now to Mr. Bean, the Bean Slayer. If you missed that episode, don't worry, you missed a fever dream. Now, in the grand pantheon of first-person shooter protagonists, there are precious few who can hold a candle to Doom Guy. The ultra-buff, demon-hunting space marine may be a man of few words, but you sure as hell can hear him coming anytime he enters a room and liquidates everything in the vicinity. And the current rebooted era of Doom games absolutely lean to the idea that Bean is such a fearsome legend at this point, and many of the demons are straight up scared of him, perceiving him as a demon himself. Could you imagine that? You're just in actual hell, where you've got people being tortured, the screams of millions filling the air, to the point where it's actually quite annoying, give you a bit of tinnitus. But they're just going like, ooh, bloody hell. There's one guy up there who's causing all of our armies to absolutely piss themselves. Well, even the piss demon, especially the piss demon, they shat themselves as well. Bloody hell, that is scary. Luckily, I'm in admin though, so I won't have to go there. What's this? Conscription notice for everyone there? And of course, you'd be scared of him. I mean, the man is basically a walking tank and can somehow carry an entire arsenal's worth of weapons on his person and is able to effortlessly rip and tear demons in half with his bare hands. Everyone, no matter what side you're on here, should absolutely be scared of the Bean Slayer, because just imagine how utterly terrifying it would have to have him on your tail. The likes of BJ Blazkowicz, Samus Aran and Master Chief, yeah, they would come and ruin your day and probably spit in your face for good measure. But Bean Slayer, they will end you with extreme prejudice. Okay, time to talk about fellow Baldy, Agent 47 from Hitman. Now, few would profess Hitman's assassin protagonist, Agent 47, to be a card-carrying hero. I mean, the man kills people for money, for heaven's sake. And even though many of his marks are ultimately awful human beings, it is a stretch to call him anything more than an anti-hero. And this is the thing, Agent 47 is so damn good at his job that it's easy to appreciate just how terrifying it would have to have him assigned to be your dirt nap. With his basically supernatural ability to blend into just about any scenario, even with a bloody barcode tattoo on his noggin, logic be damned, I guess, and the endlessly creative means with which he can shuffle somebody off their mortal coil, 47 is basically a force of nature unto himself. He's tremendously fun to play as, but he'd also make for an absolutely terrifying stalker antagonist. It's like the creature from It Follows meets the Terminator meets It the Clown, because they love comedy and weird pratfalls and toilets dropping on your head. That's horrifying. And once 47 accepts a contract on you, you'll never rest easy again. But then again, you probably won't be aware of it, and you won't be alive for much longer after the fact, so it'll be a short and terrifying existence for the moments that you do see him, though. Link, from The Legend of Zelda. And finally, we have The Legend of Zelda's Link, who is undeniably one of the most iconic video game heroes, and say it with me, kids, of all time. But oh, just how things could be different with just a few tweaks. You see, Link is silent and indomitable. He won't ever stop until the day is won, while also being aided by a vast array of weapons and abilities, with new powers typically being introduced in each successive game. Now, Link's most notable abilities from past titles include time, matter, and weather manipulation, the power to transform into a wolf, and also gain superhuman strength. Now, it is great for players, trust me, but just imagine if the shoe was on the other foot and all of this was coming at you. You probably wouldn't be making cracks about his goofy green tunic now, would you? I mean, you probably get one off just before he absolutely ends you, just be like, gone. As a wordless warrior who is seemingly unstoppable despite his small stature, Link has as much in common with Kevin from Sin City as he does a typical hero, just with slightly less cannibalism, obviously. Obviously. Does he eat people? Let me know down in the comment section below. And there we go, my friends. Those were 8 video game protagonists who would have made better villains. I hope that you enjoyed that, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below, and put your suggestions for next week's episode down there as well. I love to read them all, my friends. But if you want to chat to me in the meantime, you can go over to my social medias, which are @RetroJ, but the O is a 0 on Blue Sky, and Instagram. You can check out all the Warhammer I've been painting recently. I'm in love with painting orcs at the moment. I've got so many to go. I've got 60 boys to paint. But if you want to chat to my lovely and very patient editor, Sai, you can chat to her here over on her social medias as well. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. Even though we spoke today about heroes who almost became villains, and probably we're much better for it that they didn't, let's talk about how we should also be kind to ourselves so we don't go out and make silly mistakes and choices in our lives. Just sit and think with things before you go out and start making actions based on them. And also, just do that from a place of love and respect for both yourself and the people that you're dealing with, all right? Sometimes we can be very rash human beings. We can go out there and act without thinking about the repercussions of things that are going to go on. But we just need to take a moment, take a breath, find that point of inner peace before we go out into the world and make those choices. Because trust me, if you do, and that you are kind to yourself, you'll see that the world isn't against you as much as you may originally believe, and you might be able to go out there and make better choices. And at the end of the day, that is all I want for you, to live a healthy and happy life. Big love to you, my friend. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.